have any advice, any, I guess, tactics, strategies on how you go about practicing those stories? Like in my case, for example, I do a lot of video content, and that's where I practice my stories, right? Like I usually write them, I have a script, or I do a blog. That helps me kind of like memorize it. Then I usually practice it in a video. I would, when I was in Toastmasters, I would use that space to also practice some of the stories that I was going to use. In your case, how do you make sure you're practicing the stories so you have them down? And then once you have them down, is that it? Or do you, let's say, refresh them before going to an event?
So when I was part of that entrepreneur group several years ago, I had my weekly practice. So we had an hour basically where we sat down and well, actually we didn't sit down. We had to get up and do that presentation. And at the end, people would give us feedback on how we felt. It was a lot like Toastmasters. Um, what I before that and even after that and currently now is I walk around thinking those things in my head first. Like, what would I say if they asked me this?
Hmm.
Or if this happened, what would I do? And then I practice it out loud. I mean, I'll go outside and just, I'll probably look crazy to my neighbors, but I'll walk and I mean, I'm not saying it full volume, but I'll kind of say it a little bit out loud. Okay, this is what I would say. And I take again, it's not just with presentations or anything like that. It's with things that are going to happen in your life. And, what would you do if a branch fell on your kid right now?
Hmm.
Most people don't think that. Most people don't want to think that. But I found for myself that if I think it enough times, like I'm a little bit desensitized to it, to where like, okay, obviously very traumatic and like I don't want it to happen. But if it does happen, I already know what I need to do because I've practiced so many times. Like I'm gonna go do this and do that and do that. And then again, the practice, like, okay, how big is the branch gonna be? Well, if it's gonna be real heavy, I probably have to like lift it up. So I better start working on my squats.
Hmm. Hmm.
And hopefully a branch never falls on any of my kids. But if it does, at least I can, instead of trying to like figure out what am I going to do there. Again, you want to practice, practice, practice. That's no matter what you do, just practice. Again, practice makes prepared.
Yeah, there's a great story about Napoleon, very similar to what you do, that he used to be able to predict where the final battle of a war was going to happen. And people thought he was kind of like crazy or was like doing witchcraft or something. But then it was known that what he did was basically think of every scenario, right?
Yep.
Like, okay, this is what I want to do, this is what I would do, this is what I think the other general would do. He might do, if I do A, he might do A, B, or C, right? And if I do B, he might do A, B, or C with every option. So he, of course, had a kind of like decision tree and then think probabilistically, okay, this is what it's likely to happen, and this is why it's going to end here.
There's
Talk. Go
a
ahead, Ron.
quote. I don't know if it's a quote, but like from The Simpsons. Bart. I think for some reason I can't remember exactly the episode, but The Simpsons, Bart actually studies for a test, and then he does really well on the test, and he says like it's like you cheated by writing the answers on your brain
Mm-hmm.
when when you practice, when you think about it, like, okay, I wonder what I'm gonna do. Okay, I think I'm gonna do this. Like, let me try it. No, actually, that's dumb. Like, let me try a different thing. Oh, yeah, actually, this works real well. How can I make it better? Let me try a different way. And again, like for me, it's just a fun little game that I played when I was little. For everything, you can tell me what's gonna. You can give me a scenario, and I probably thought about it in my head already, and I have a solution. And again, it's like cheating by writing the answers in your head. So I always like to do that. It's just for me, it's a lot of fun. If I could spend my day doing that and getting paid for it, like I would be the happiest person in the world.